Hey, it's like super dark. Sorry, I have some feelings about the Winx Club and Glee that I gotta get out. I know they have nothing to do with each other. First off, story continuality in Winx just sucks, and it's just so irritating, and I was complaining to myself about this earlier, and then I was just like, I should record this. And then I was like, oh, and then I got on Glee because Glee did this same stupid thing. Or rather, it's Winx and Glee both did different things stupidly. Let's put it that way. Okay, for one thing, in the Winx Club, their ages are really vague. Like, I think they're like 16 when they start at a college, which may just be how the school system works in Italy. I don't know. Research for another time. But like first 3 seasons is just them like graduating from the college, and then even though like 3 of them are princesses and all of them are guardian fairies, which seems to be like a very like prominent position in their society, they're supposed to be like the protectors of each of their realms, they decide to not go on with their lives, and they said they all stay around Althea and become teachers at the college they just graduated from. The fuck? Not that it seems to actually matter, because then they like leave, go do other things. It's so irritating. And the thing about it is I loved like all of those characters. I mean, I have a ranking in my head of which ones I liked best, which ones I didn't. But yeah, I liked all of those characters, but you know, they could have gone off. They could have gone off and did their own things. They could have returned to their home planets and taken up their duties and like came together for like big things and stuff like that. And the thing about it is that they were introducing younger characters who could have come in and like been like slowly inducted into the Winx Club and slowly become like the guardians of Althea. Again, you know, you had Myrta, you had Crystal, you had Roxy, who I'm fuzzy on how old Roxy was, but like she was coming in as like 7th ranger. You could have made Aisha a little younger than the others. Like that's why she's just now getting to the college, is like the rest of them are all 17 and she's like 16. So like she becomes the leader of the crew because she had a huge arc there for a while. You could have like slowly brought in new girls as the older girls graduated, you know? I mean, and I mean, they would have still been there. You could have still gotten to see your favorite characters, just, you know, seeing them growing up and maturing, not hanging around their college, never leaving, just, ugh. And I realized that, like, there was some overarching part where they formed the new light company, and that's great and all, but, like, the old light company was still around. I mean, it's not like they had to stay in Magix to be the light company. I'm literally writing a fanfiction right now where Flora's just like, you know, this has been great, yeah, but I gotta go home and, like, actually take up my duties as the guardian fairy of Lymphia, so see ya. It's much sadder than that, but and so on. Glee did the exact opposite, and that was the death of the show. It was the end of season 3 was the death kill of that show. Like, they probably could have saved themselves some money if they had just stopped filming the show right then and there. And the thing about it is once again, and you have this in these teen dramas, is they're really vague on how old these kids are. Like, maybe in season 1 you'll get something definitive like, oh, well, they're sophomores or something, because Hollywood seems to think that sophomores can drive. It's one of those things that's just like, look, if you wanted them to drive and have these adventures and have, like, really negligent parents who don't know when they get in and stuff, just set it in a college. It doesn't have to be in high school. You want to have a bunch of young people running around with, like, little responsibility, like, who occasionally go to class, who all seem to be able to drive and drink and stuff. I was just like, just put them in college. You don't have to put them in high school. Like, college is great for that. You have tons of free time depending on how you arrange your classes, but like you still have responsibilities, and you can still do like most of the adult things that you can like adult with, and just put them in college. Not to mention, college can go on forever. I mean, there are literally people out there who are professional students. That's all they do. They stay in school. They never leave. They just get degree after degree after degree, racking up student debt. Make one character rich. He just keeps like wiping everyone's student debt out. Just go forth. Make a college OU. I am so sick and tired of these things being in high school. Oh my God. Give high school students, if that's the audience you want to get to, because, I mean, you're making all of these high school students, their actors are college age. You're making these high school students face things that people in college would. Give high schoolers something to look forward to. Just, anyway, so, like, but the thing that Glee did that was just infuriating is, like, when they were coming up on the end of season 3, they started talking about making a spinoff where they would follow, like, the spinoff, like, whole new show spinoff would follow Rachel and Kurt to New York. That's great. They were 2 of the fan favorites. Follow them to New York. Santana joins them later on. Even better. You know, slowly but surely, everyone makes their way to New York. Awesome. Could not have been a better set of circumstances. Love it. You know, but they didn't do that. They had all this goddamn money and they didn't do that. What they did instead is they just divided the show down the middle. And like half the show was dedicated to New York and half the show was dedicated to Ohio. It was just so frustrating. And the thing about it is, the thing that made it so goddamn frustrating is, like, they were so vague about their ages. And they could have graduated a few of them at a time. They could have done this. They could have done this! You know? I mean, it makes sense in season 1 that, like, Finn and Quinn are seniors. Maybe Puck's a senior too. You could even have kept, like, Puck, because he was, like, never going to math class. He could have totally, like, just, like, been held back a year. You wouldn't have, like, lost him that year. But Finn and Quinn, if they were the head cheerleader and the head football player and blah, 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 then they're probably seniors. Those positions aren't generally held by sophomores. They're probably seniors. Have them graduate. They can still stay around. You know, have Finn go into the army, and you occasionally follow him over there. He comes back, and you give him some, like, much-needed character development, because, God, I hated that character. You know, have Quinn deal with all of her family drama and the baby, and, like somehow, like, you know, she writes an essay about what it was like going through her senior year, being pregnant, and giving up her child. That helps her get into Yale. That's great. You occasionally see them, like, calling her up for advice or, like, legal advice because she wants to be a lawyer. Great. Let that happen. You know, Rachel and Kurt, your 2 fan favorites, like, move up. They're now juniors. Great. You know, next year, following year, like, Puck, Matt, Mike, Santana, and Brittany are now seniors. And, like, the year after that, they graduate. Fine. And while you were doing this, not all the fuck at once, while you were doing this, you slowly introduced, like, Marley and Ryder. I don't even know what the fuck their names are, because I didn't care about them. You dumped them all. You got rid of all the fan favorites. You got rid of, like, 10 of the original 12. All at once. All graduated. We have no idea what the fuck happened to most of them. They just disappeared. And then you introduced an entire new cast and expected us to care about them. Which some people did. I didn't. I don't remember any of their names. And they were doing that. They were bringing new characters in. And it's especially because, like, okay, so all of these kids, these bunch of new characters that you just brought in and expect us to care about, they just came in. So they must all be freshmen. Do you remember being in high school when the new freshman arrived? I remember being a sophomore. Now, let me preface this. I am 4'11". Okay, I'm not even 5 feet tall. I have never been 5 feet tall. Let's face it, I'm getting older. I'm just going to shrink. I remember being a sophomore as my extremely short self. The new freshman came in and just going, God, they're tiny. What the fuck? I distinctly remember, like, what was their names? Like, Jake and Ryder and all of that coming in. They're already just, like, huge. I'm like, I'm sorry, no. Freshmen don't look like that. They're 14 right now. Those boys, like, their balls haven't dropped yet, alright? There's no fucking way. I take that back. I have known 13 and 14-year-olds that were, like, already 6 feet tall because they hit, like, crazy growth spurts. But just... like, introduce them slowly. Bring them in slowly. Don't axe the entire class and, like, just bring in a whole new one. I mean, come on, people. This is not a new formula. You know, soap operas do this all the fucking time. You know, they slowly phase in new characters. They slowly phase out old ones. And, like, the old ones, they come back. They come back. You get updates on what they're doing. You know, soap operas run for, like, decades. You could have done this, and you didn't. I mean, Glee especially was, like, a cultural phenomenon for their while. They were so popular. There were concerts. Like, I remember some people at work, like, went to these concerts, like, they were, like, super fans. And, like, you could have done this, and you didn't. And so, like, we lost Glee after, like, 6 seasons. It just kind of dribbled off, and it was so depressing and unsatisfying, and God, I hated it. There was a lot of things I hated about Glee. Like, the romantic plot tumor that was Finchel. And it's kind of what got me on Glee, not the whole, like, I linked it to the like, leaving of characters and the not leaving of characters and stuff like that, but, the thing about Winx that I just stopped watching was, Bloom. If there was ever a canon Mary Sue, Bloom. Everything comes back to Bloom. Everything. It's not that she's not a nice character. She's fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with her. I mean, that's kind of the problem. She doesn't appear to have any flaws. Not that I can remember. Just everything. It did not matter what was happening to any other character. Everything came back to Bloom. But the point, the nail in the coffin, the part at which I stopped watching, was when they form a band and they have a concert and they're, like, performing at this little resort or something for a little while. And Musa was not the front man. She wasn't the lead singer. She's literally the guardian fairy of the realm of music. She hears every music everywhere. She can play every fucking instrument. She can hear the song in your heart and sing it. And it's like, and you put her in the back? Like, I remember hearing that they had formed a band, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then I see them performing, and Bloom's the lead singer, and I went, the fuck? The fuck? You put the fairy of music in the back of the band? I don't even remember what she was up there with a tambourine or something like that. I'm like, That would be like if you formed a band with Eric Clapton and Stevie Ray Vaughan, and you put them on drums and triangle.